folks, welcome to the show, where I make whatever I want despite its lack of demand. On a completely unrelated note, today we're going to be looking at Hercules the Series Episode 2, Hercules and the King of Thessalay. A few months back, I set out on a mission to review every episode of the 90s Hercules spin-off, as despite Hercules being my second favourite movie of all time, it was the only Disney spin-off series I had never watched. I've already looked at the first episode, Hercules and the Apollo mission, which had some great moments of writing and animation but stumbled when it came to certain portrayals of characters like Zeus. And if you haven't seen my review of that episode, don't worry, you're not alone. Yeah, it didn't do so great, as it currently stands as having the least amount of views of any of my videos. I mean, I didn't think it was that far below my usual subpar quality, but I guess the market spoke. Good thing I never listened to the market. I said I was going to review each episode, and damn it, I will do just that. So, let's get right into it.
Hercules and the King of Thessaly.
The episode once again opens with Bob, our narrator, who tells us about King Salmoneus, who has run his kingdom into the ground but has a plan involving something called Zeusapalooza, which Hercules attends with his two best friends. Icarus, a guy who still looks like he just drank the water on It's a Small World, and Cassandra, a nihilistic Megara whose chin is so sharp it should be classified as a lethal weapon.
This doesn't seem like Dad's style at all.
This isn't anyone's style.
Hercules is confused why his father wouldn't tell him about the event, as Cassandra has a vision of Thessalay in ruin, which everyone just casually ignores. Zeus finally appears and wow. I thought they couldn't do him any more dirty than they did in the last episode, but they couldn't even be bothered to draw him on model this time. Actually, this is King Salmoneus pretending to be Zeus so he can scare his subjects into submission due to his low approval ratings. Okay. I could accept the teenager with super strength who fights the devil along with his goat teacher. But a person in power lying to get the unwavering support of their people is just too far to suspend my disbelief. Now, of course, Herc ain't having any of that crap, and tries to expose him, so Salmoneus tries to have his people kill him, which just so happens to be when Zeus shows up with his fabulous assistant Hermes.
Well, let's examine the evidence then. Exhibit Alpha, 1 license plate reading Zeus I. Exhibit Beta, 1 lightning bolt fake.
Also, why is Zeus acting like it's been a long time since he's seen Hercules? Didn't we establish last episode that he can now appear anytime so long as there's a statue of him in the vicinity? Also, he meets Icarus and Cassandra, and it's actually kind of a cute moment. Zeus here seems a lot closer to the character from the movie. I mean, he's not saying Herc is more important than everyone else because of his heritage this time, so that's a start. The people of Thessaly decide Hercules should be their new king, which, I mean, that's not how monarchies work, unless we're operating by recess logic, in which case, carry on. We transition via vase/vase to the Grove of Despair, because how else are you supposed to travel these days? And this most certainly isn't at all relevant to a certain political development that happened recently.
Years of blissful tyranny down the drain!
King Salmonella announces he might as well be dead, which causes some confusion when Pain and Panic show up to take him to the underworld. Which, I mean, we've all been there. He makes a deal with the dipstick duo that he'll keep their secret if they get rid of the new king so he can reclaim his throne. Not before a pretty good joke, though.
The Grove of Despair is for despairing.
You're scheming, aren't you?
Sorry. Forgive us.
Didn't mean to ruin your grove.
Zeus and Hera are sat above talking about Hercules now being king, while he just awkwardly watches. Hercules feels like he isn't meant to be king. And if you were hoping this was going to lead to a song where we get to hear Roger Bart's beautiful vocals once more, me too. I mean, why would they give the Muses that one song in the first episode, setting it up like this show was going to have original music, and then give us absolutely nothing? We're halfway through the episode and the Muses haven't even made an appearance yet. That kinda seems like a pattern with the show so far. It gives you hints of something you want and then forgets that even happened. With how many times he appears in the intro, you'd think Phil would have a big part in the show, but 2 episodes in and all we have is a blink and you'll miss it silent cameo. But I can complain all I want later. Right now, Pain and Panic pose as Thessalans to declare war on a neighbouring kingdom, which, I gotta hand it to them, is actually a decent plan. So the unnamed warriors from the unnamed kingdom go to meet with Hercules on the battlegrounds where this happens.
You are so hot.
Alright, even for the time this was made, that was not acceptable on any level. Please never do that again. The army flees at the mere mention of Hercules being the son of Zeus. I take back my earlier comment about this being a decent plan. Pain and Panic's next idea is to instigate a garbage strike, which creates a mess Hercules has to clean up. And here I have to give the episode some credit. Hercules is a very active king. So many times in this kind of plot, the character either mopes around, turns selfish, or buckles under the smallest amount of pressure. But Hercules is a competent leader who is actually putting some work into his position.
This trash is truly trouble. It's stinking up our streets.
Oh, so now we're going to have a song. Then Pegasus flies in right the hell out of nowhere in his first ever appearance in the series as the muses finally show up and start singing. And I get the feeling this episode is about to go off the rails and I am so ready for it. Then we get perhaps the biggest continuity error in this show so far. No, it's not Hades knowing Hercules is alive. No, it's not Hercules going to school instead of training with Phil. It's the fact skinny teenage Herc can apparently punch a massive boulder when the Hercules from the after picture had to summon all his strength to lift a rock of a similar size in the movie. Sad they didn't even try when making this show. After exhausting himself with fixing every problem in the kingdom in just one day, Hercules has had enough.
I decree that we leave and never come back.
Second the motion, all in favor say aye. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Okay, she's starting to grow on me. Unfortunately, as they're sneaking out, they're stopped by Zeus and Hera. One thing I'll admit is I'm fairly sure Hera has more lines in this episode than she did in the entire film. It's nice seeing some actual interactions between her and Hercules, even if they are incredibly brief. With Hercules deciding to stay, Pain and Panic have one more trick up their sleeves and transform into a massive lion. And yeah, this fight scene is awesome. It has some nice animation, needless destruction, and a pretty kick-ass soundtrack. Hercules eventually defeats Pain and Panic, but not before causing enough property damage to make the Man of Steel blush. Then Hercules accidentally invents democracy.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Why don't you just try to decide for yourselves?
Decide for ourselves. Yes, why we can form a representative parliament in which decisions are effected by majority vote.
And we end the episode with Hades torturing Pain and Panic, which is honestly how everything should end. And that was Hercules the Series Episode 2. And I'm conflicted. Same as last time, the animation and most of the voice acting is on point, and I'm really starting to like Icarus and Cassandra. Well, I'm starting to like Cassandra, but something about the writing still feels very lacking to me. Like, there are some really good jokes, but the characters aren't right. Everyone feels so generic, and unfortunately that is most prevalent with Hercules. And now that we're 2 episodes in, the absence of Phil is really starting to become more apparent. How much better would this episode be if he was here and we got some of that great dynamic between him and Hercules? Then there's the issue with the songs. I'm happy it seems like there's going to be an original song every episode, but so far they aren't anything special. The muses still sound incredible, and narratively they at least move the plot forward, but there is so little connection to the characters, especially since Herc doesn't even get to sing. I understand maybe getting Roger Bart is a little expensive, but this is Disney in the 90s. They have the money. I know I should take the show for what it is and not what I want it to be, but look at the Little Mermaid series. So many of those songs are about the characters and their inner struggles. Most songs in musical theatre aren't just something put there in place of dialogue. It's the characters conveying such a visceral emotion mere words couldn't sum up. The episode overall was just kind of Hopefully the next episode will be more interesting and give us a much better written Hercules, but we'll have to wait and see. Thanks for watching folks, and I'll see you real soon.